is 7 o'clock. We will reconvene the Parker Town Council meeting for March 3rd, 2025. All council is present with the exception of Councilman Eric Franzen. First up, I would be honored to call up Mr. Troy Ballesturi to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir. Yes. Audience, if you'd please rise. Floor is yours, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done, sir. Thank you, sir.
I don't think we were quick enough.
No. Sorry. Students are, they're used to rattling it off in the morning. All
Blame
right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that very much.
Oof.
Next up, we have public comments. Public comment is an opportunity for town residents and other interested individuals to speak about items that are not on the agenda. This comment period is limited to 30 minutes total time, with each individual allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. You must sign up ahead of time in order to comment, and that sign up begins 30 minutes before the start of the meeting. The council will accommodate as many speakers as possible during this time, with preference to town residents. But if public comment extends beyond the allotted 30 minutes, town council will continue the comment period at the end of the meeting, prior to adjourning for those who signed up before the meeting. As any matters raised by individuals during the public comment are not on the agenda, and other potentially interested parties would not therefore be aware of the discussion of these matters, the town council will not engage in dialogue regarding any item raised during this public comment period. Is there anybody wishing to address this council in public comment? Seeing none, we will close public comment at 7:01 and move on to reports, items, and comments from the mayor and council. Todd, would you like to start us off, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is fairly busy. First, a lot of us have attended the same events, but attended the big picture meeting presented to town staff a few weeks ago. Then Legend Unified destroyed our police department and basketball again. Nice effort, though. Attended State of the Town, and then we had our retreat meeting, and then finally the mayor's ball last weekend. So that's it.
Thank you, Todd. Ann?
Yeah, these last 2 weeks have been extremely busy. On February 19th, I attended the big picture meetings. On February 20th, along with the mayor and council members Wilkes and Hefta, we attended CML's legislative workshop. And, you know, it was a great day, but as I was discussing with the mayor and council member Wilkes, this is fourth time I've been to that. And it just didn't feel like I got as much out of it this time, but it wasn't because they didn't give a great presentation. It was because we get such great weekly updates now from our mayor and Emily and our lobbyist. So I already felt pretty informed about, you know, usually there's so much new information to absorb. Also had a first-tier suburbs meeting that same day, and then on the 21st, I participated in the Douglas County Youth Initiative Lunch and Learn call. On February 27th, we held our Douglas County Housing Partnership Board meeting at the new Meadowmark Apartments in Castle Rock, which is one of the new affordable senior communities. And after the meeting, we toured the community. Later that day, I attended the State of the Town and Impact Awards presentation sponsored by the Rotary in that same evening. Also had our first EENR, Energy, Environment, Natural Resources call of the year. And after that, I guess this is more personal, but I was the MC for a ribbon cutting for Covered Colorado. February 28th, we had our council strategic retreat. And finally, on March 1st, I attended another Rotary-sponsored event, as Councilmember Hendrick said, with the mayor's ball. So it's been a very busy week.
Brandy?
Yeah, so besides all of that, I had the chamber, so the Parker Chamber of Commerce board meeting in their new location. So they're still in the same spot, but they've expanded and they have a new conference room now. So that was great just to give them some updates on the town and hear what they're looking forward to for this upcoming year. And then I also had my Public Safety and Crime Prevention Federal Advocacy Committee beginning of the year. That really is a mouthful. I need to shorten that. Beginning of the year meeting before we make our trip to DC to advocate for some federal funding and federal changes. But other than that, we're good.
John?
Thank you. I also attended the State of the Town. I'll let the mayor sort of provide you his comments on that. On the 27th, I had an E470 Finance Committee meeting. We addressed the audit, 2024 year preliminary year-end financial update, and the traffic and revenue overview and proposed study. The big takeaway for me was the amount of transactions that E470 takes care of within a year. Last year, topped 100 million. So I can't imagine 100 million transactions having to go through a electronic process, and if you don't have a toll tag on there, it becomes a license plate read. If they can't do that, then it has to go through a second thing. So a huge process just to make things incredibly convenient when we do the tollway. But 100 million seems over the top a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Laura?
Okay. Yep. So, sorry. I attended all the same things: the State of the Town, the Colorado Municipal League downtown, the tour of the Capitol, which was very interesting, the big picture meeting, the strategic retreat, and I also attended the Colorado Municipal League meeting online. For those of you that don't know what the Colorado Municipal League does, it is essentially a lobbyist that acts upon the request, and it's funded across the state from all towns in cities in Colorado, and it advocates on behalf of all these towns at the Capitol when legislation is going through the Capitol every legislative session, which is January till May every year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laura. Thanks for touching on CML. We went down to the Capitol, toured it. We had our legislative update. Laura represents Parker on the CML Policy Committee. That is everybody and anybody that wants to take part in that policy from each of the 270 cities, towns, and villages that are represented by CML in the state of Colorado. That policy committee makes recommendations to the executive board, which I have the honor of sitting on. We have 21 elected folks from CML's greater group that represent the entire group, and we decide if those statements or those positions are correct, and we ratify those positions, and then we take those to the state capitol. So very busy work this time of year, doing our best to defend the rights of home rule municipalities. And then on the 25th, on Tuesday the 25th, I had my first annual State of the Town. As you can tell, I talk very fast, so there are a few times I got ahead of myself. I talk faster than I read sometimes. So it was very good. I've got some improvements to make, but well attended. I was very honored by the guests that showed up. It was a quick turnaround. A lot of you may know I've just been in this chair for a few months, and so getting that event put together and done as well as it was, I'm very, very proud. That was done by the Parker Rotary Club of Parker. And then following that up, the Rotary Club hosts the Mayor's Ball, which was a dance on Saturday evening, and all of the proceeds from that, we raised probably close to $20,000 for the Parker Task Force. Just another great event. Again, the turnaround was really, really short. And then I am honored to say that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Parker South Stake, had a conference, and they invited me to partake in that, and I went down and was very honored to sit there on behalf of Parker and learn more about their incredible organization. So busy week. I won't go into all the other details that were brought up, but thank you all. Next up in front of us, we have consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion of consent agenda items unless council votes to remove an item for individual discussion. Ordinances on consent agenda are for introduction only and will not be removed for discussion. Council, I would entertain a motion on consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Items A through I.
Yes, A through I, sorry.
I have a motion to approve consent agenda items A through I. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Councilman Hendricks. I have a second from Councilwoman Hefta. Hendricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Barrington?
Yes.
Wilks?
Aye.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes unanimously. Next in front of us are ordinances. The first item, 5A, is ordinance number 1.641 on second reading. A bill for an ordinance to approve the Douglas County Impact Collaborative Investigative Unit Memorandum of Understanding among the Town of Parker, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, the City of Lone Tree, the Town of Castle Rock, and the Office of the District Attorney of the 23rd Judicial District. I do not see Ken, so presenting tonight is Commander Pryor.
I am presenting. He's just indisposed this evening, so, and I figured I could talk on his behalf. Impact reports to our investigations division because I was there for 8 years here recently. I'm kind of familiar with it. So our impact unit, right now, we currently have one detective assigned to the impact unit. The impact unit is a collaborative between Lone Tree, Castle Rock, and Douglas County.
Commander Pryor, would you mind that microphone?
Oh, there? Okay. It's tough for me to talk and hear myself. It's a joint venture between Castle Rock, Lone Tree, us, and Douglas County. It formerly was known as the Pattern Crimes Unit. It is now the Impact Unit, which offers the ability to help us investigate more crimes. Basically, what Impact is it's a force multiplier for investigations. So if there's an investigation going on and we need additional manpower, we need surveillance, we need potentially additional equipment, whatever that might be, we call an impact to do that. Our detective currently holds a caseload for the town of Parker, although not as much as the regular detectives, but then also help out with other jurisdictions' investigations. If they have something that's bigger, larger, it's going to take a lot more investigation, I can go to them and our detective will help out them like they'll help us out. So.
Thank you, sir. We'll bring it for questions. Laura, any questions?
Just to give a little bit more clarity, could you talk about a case that was public or in the news or something, the past where you had effectuated results on this with the impact team?
Sure. Here recently, we had an auto pedestrian crash that happened at Parker and Lincoln that ended up being a fatal crash. At that time, we had no idea where the suspect was, who they were. We were looking for a car. We had an idea, geographically, maybe Denver, maybe Aurora, maybe further north. So we called on Impact to use all their resources. They got everything narrowed down so that we could get a bunch more detectives and officers in the area, more kind of searching for the car. We ended up finding the car. Suspect was arrested and is currently standing trial.
Thank you.
No questions.
Randy, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Any questions?
I guess I'm just kind of curious, like how, are there like certain protocols for like cases that cross the municipal boundaries? Like how do you know who to call?
So it's, it would be any of the cases that we would assign out go to our investigations unit. Our investigations unit would then get with Impact to discuss what the case is, to see if that's something that they could take. It also goes to an on-call status, so every member of Impact has an on-call rotation. So if there's say there's a felony drug case that happens in Castle Rock, and our detective is the one that's on call, our detective will take that case. Same holds true with any cases that we have. If somebody else is on call, they do that. Where the collaborative effort comes in is more the property crimes. Like I said, the force multiplier, we'll use them also as a small kind of tactical team. If we have something, if we have to execute a warrant or something where we don't need a full SWAT team call out, we will call them out to do that. So it's less risk to the public, less risk to the officers that are going on. So it's we decide if it goes to our detective, and we can just say, you're taking this case. But as far as the bigger ones, we'll work with the Impact unit and the lieutenant and the captain that are over that to say, this is what we've got going on, and then they can throw resources at it. So if we need surveillance or something, if they need to go out of state for some reason to go try to contact somebody, that's how all of that works.
Great, thanks for explaining that.
Todd, any questions?
No questions.
All right. Thank you, Commander Pryor. Appreciate your time. I'd like to open public comment at 7:14 PM. If there's any questions or comments from the audience, please now make yourself known. See none, we'll close public comment at 7:14 and go back to council in reverse order. Todd, any comments?
No, it's always good to support law enforcement, and so these MOUs are worthy tools to work with other departments, and I'm in support.
Ann?
Yeah, I think it's just really encouraging to see all the agencies working together, and appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Ready?
What I love is the safety clause where it says that this is promulgated for the health, safety, and welfare of the public, and that this ordinance is necessary for the preservation of health and safety and for protection of public convenience and welfare. So it just shows that this isn't just an internal thing. This is really to help keep Parker safe and the town that we love and that we all support. So I'm in support.
Thank you, Randy. John?
Yeah, I'm trying to find words that haven't been said, but I think historically, here in Parker and Douglas County, people truly appreciate public safety, our police force, our sheriff's department. It's great when they're able to work together for the benefit of us and their surrounding partners as well. So I see absolutely no issue with this. Thank you.
Laura?
Yeah, just to reiterate, this is a collaborative, multi-agency investigative unit within the new 23rd Judicial District under the leadership of George Brockler to target criminals, offenses, behaviors, and street-level narcotic trafficking. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, council, I would entertain a motion on ordinance number 1.641, please.
I move to approve ordinance number 1.641 on second reading.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion from Wilkes and a second from Barrington. Todd, how do you vote?
Yes.
Barrington?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Back?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes unanimously. Next, council, in front of you, item 5B, ordinance number 1.642 on second reading. A bill for an ordinance to approve the Douglas County Regional SWAT Team, Special Weapons and Tactics Team, memorandum of understanding among the town of Parker, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, the city of Lone Tree, and the town of Castle Rock. Coincidentally, Commander Jim Pryor presenting.
Mayor and council, happy to see you again. So as far as our involvement with the Douglas County Regional SWAT Team, we've been doing it for numerous years at this point. Currently, we have 6 people on the team, including the tactical commander, Sergeant Jake Schuster. And we have a team leader on there, 2 operators, a sniper, and a negotiator that are all on the team. So our involvement, obviously, if a SWAT team gets called in, it's higher risk stuff, whether that's something that's happening in the moment or something that we plan for, such as warrant services and things like that. The SWAT team having the tactics and the training that they have makes everything safer for the public, something that's quick. Obviously, SWAT is, if you talk to anybody, SWAT is a life-saving organization. So they want to get people out, they want it to end peacefully, and that's what a majority of their training is, kind of throughout. As far as our involvement, like I said, we've been doing it for a while. We already have kind of our piece of everything with the SWAT team is to equip our guys with some of the equipment that they need, which we have a line item budget for that we've had for a long time to make sure our guys have what they need in order to take care of the public. So the last piece of this is not only is it great to have them as part of this, having members on the team, it helps the department and the individual patrol teams. So if we have something that happens in the moment before SWAT teams get there, before all this happens, we have a tactical advantage having some of those members there that can talk about some of that stuff and maybe end things quicker should we need to do that. So,
Excellent. Commander, thank you for the presentation. Todd, questions?
No questions.
Ann?
No questions. Thank you.
Randy?
You might not be able to answer it because I know you're kind of jumping in and filling in here.
Oh, this one's mine.
Oh, okay,
This
perfect.
is
Then you
all
should.
me.
Do you know off the top of your head how many times we had to use SWAT in 2024?
I don't know an exact number. I want to say the number is, I could go back and count. I think it was 14 or 15 call-outs, which would include going out to Elbert County when they need backup and sending support out there, which would include going up to Denver if they need something like the Rook, which is a regional asset, to send that stuff out. So it's not often, but it's nice when they're there, for sure.
I don't know. I mean, that to me, it's more than one a month. So for me, saying 14 or 15, I'm like, that's
Yeah,
impressive.
you get a couple of months of nothing, and then all of a sudden, it's a couple of weeks of things going on, and then it kind of slows around. So it ebbs and flows.
Perfect.
sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. John?
No questions at all.
Laura, any questions?
Yeah, and just because we have students here, and it's important to know. One, can you tell us what SWAT stands for? And then can you tell us the type of cases the SWAT team and highly trained officers take?
Sure. So the SWAT team is acronym for Special Weapons and Tactics. So basically, twice a month, the team gets together. They train as a team on all sorts of different scenarios. Those scenarios could be active shooter scenarios. Those scenarios could be high-risk warrant service where maybe you've got a murder suspect in a house, somebody that's barricaded, that's got hostages. Those super high-profile and super dangerous calls is when the SWAT team ends up coming out. So they can, and the first step is always negotiations. Again, being a life-saving organization, negotiations is always the first step. Hopefully that goes well. If not, they have the training and tactics in order to go in and stop the situation safely, or as safe as it can be.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll go ahead and open public comment at 7:21 PM. Is there any member of the public wishing to address this council on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment at the same time, 7:21, and move on to comments from council. Laura, start us off, please.
No, thank you for your hard work. I see we have several law enforcement officers here and the chief as well. Thank you, Chief. No, I appreciate the fact that this team works so hard to keep residents in Douglas County safe. It is sad when people have mental conditions and disturbances and emotional disturbances which cause them to lose control. But knowing that we have a team here to address that situation and to save life is the reason the SWAT team exists. So thank you very much.
Councilman Dyak.
Yeah, no, that's just, again, an extra level of protection that we have that maybe we don't know we have, but again, anytime we can get collaboration and experts trained for situations we can't even possibly think about and how to resolve, we're glad we have them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Brandy?
Yeah, as you know, this council supports our Men in Blue on a very high level, and I feel safe knowing that at any given time we've got the resources and the personnel needed to keep us all safe. So thank you.
Ann?
Thank you.
Todd?
Thank you, and I'm in support.
Thank you. With that, I would entertain a motion on ordinance number 1.642 on second reading.
I move to approve ordinance number 1.642 on second reading.
And a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Hefta, a second from Hendricks. Todd, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Brandy?
Aye.
John?
Yes.
Laura? And that
Yes.
also passes, sorry. And that also passes
Yes.
unanimously.
Wow. We're keeping it.
Moving on, the last item on the agenda, contracts over $500,000. In front of us is Lincoln Avenue and Jordan widening, CIP 22-02. So, Mr. Burke, take it away, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is to award the contract for the Lincoln Avenue Jordan Road widening project. I think between the last 2 years since I've been here, I've been in front of you probably 15 times presenting on this project, so I think everybody's pretty familiar with our limits, but for the record, we are starting just west of Keystone Boulevard on Lincoln Avenue. We'll be constructing up to Parker Road, and then we also have a segment on Jordan Road from Stonegate Parkway to Lincoln Avenue. Bit of a brief background. The town has been preparing for this widening project for over 2 decades. I did do a little bit of research. The earliest mention I could find was from about 2011 in a Douglas County transportation plan, noted that this was to be widened to 6 lanes by 2020. So we didn't miss it by too much. It was certainly talked about prior to that date. So it's been a long time coming. This is an important component to Parker's long-term roadway transportation plan. It's aimed to help with our congestion around the town, in and around the town. Beginning in 2021 and over the next several years up until now, Town Council has executed multiple IGAs with Douglas County on design funding and construction funding. That most recently one was in October of 2024, in which Douglas County is providing $9 million for construction funds. And then starting in July of 2024 through just January of 2025, Council approved multiple purchase and sale agreements for the acquisition of needed right-of-way, permanent and temporary easements for this project. In total, we acquired just over half an acre of right-of-way, 1.8 acres of permanent easement, and 5.2 acres of temporary easement. So we advertised this project publicly for bid on January the 9th. Bids were opened on February the 18th. We received 5 bids. All 5 bids were under our engineer's estimate, with the low responsive bidder being Hammond Infrastructure at $27,379,212.06. So our recommendation, the town has worked with Hammond Infrastructure in the past. They've completed several bridge projects within the town, the most recent one being the Cottonwood Widening Project from 2020 to 2022. They are currently active in the Colorado civil construction market. They've recently completed projects for CDOT, for Douglas County, Adams County, City of Lone Tree, City and County of Denver, City of Centennial, and RTD. So staff recommends award of this contract to Hammond Infrastructure in the amount of $27,379,212.06. And happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate the presentation. We'll start with Brandy.
Oh, you're gonna start with me? I have like 5. I may have missed it. Did you have an estimated start date and an estimated completion date on that?
So our estimated start date, these guys are ready to go. We're going to execute contract, assuming award approval tonight. We'll be starting in the next probably week or two with some of the early work. The end date will be November 13 of 2026.
Okay. And part of this is also including bringing up our sidewalks and ramps to the ADA compliance requirements, correct?
Yes, almost every intersection gets touched. Will include new sidewalks, new ramps. Everything will be done to current ADA standard.
Perfect. Thank you.
Ann, questions?
So how are we going to keep the public updated on what's going on with the project? Because we know this is much needed, but we also know construction just irritates everyone, but they're going to be really happy when it's done.
I'll work with our communications department, Andy. We're going to get a webpage set up soon. We'll put general info on there, any upcoming items that are significant will get updated to the website. I've also talked with Stonegate Metro District. They're going to put it on their website for their residents to be aware of any updates. And then we'll also have signage out on the road. Prior to construction, we'll have the variable message signs letting the public know that it's going to start. We'll have a start date on there. And then we'll have permanent or temporary signage that's up along the route, just to watch your speed and kind of your typical construction signage. But yeah, we will set up a website. We'll make sure the information gets out whenever there's any big happenings.
Great, thank you. Thanks for that.
Todd?
Just if you know, how many miles is this construction roughly? If you know. You don't know. It's okay.
Yeah, I did not look that one up. I don't know exactly how far it is.
Stumped someone,
It is
sweet.
a couple of miles
All right.
on Lincoln, and then on Jordan, it's very short, just a couple hundred feet on Jordan, and then a pretty long sidewalk down Jordan.
And you mentioned 5 bidders. That's really good. I know in the past it's sometimes been less, but it's good to see 5 bids that are competitive and beat our own estimates. So, is 5 bids normal historically, or if you know?
It varies a lot. I mean, I was satisfied with that. We had a mandatory pre-bid meeting. I think we had 8 or 9 contractors in the mandatory pre-bid, so I was guessing we would get somewhere around between 4 and 6. We came in with 5. I think that's pretty reasonable for a project this size. There's only so many contractors that can take on a almost $30 million project, so I think that's a pretty reasonable number.
Cool. Thank you.
John?
Thanks. Patrick, I kind of just was looking at our Town of Parker budget, came across page 328 capital budget and decided to add all the numbers up of the Lincoln widening and Jordan Road and Lincoln widening, and all those numbers kind of came to almost a $37 million number. We have an engineering estimate of $30.3 million. That's a construction estimate. What are some other things that the budget kind of is highlighting for us in numbers that isn't construction? What goes into getting us to this point when we can consider a construction bid?
Yeah, so design of the work, that was $3.2 million. We had right-of-way and easement cost, that was almost $1.7 million to acquire that right-of-way and easement. Our construction management that was approved at last meeting was $2.3 million. So that's construction management, inspection, and testing services during construction. We did have to pay Core for relocations, $2.4 million for that, and then construction being 27.4. So you are correct, that sums to about 37 million all in, and I believe that might be the largest kind of single project the town has taken on. It's pretty
Really?
close. It's pretty close to another one that's currently going on, but I think this one does edge it out just a bit.
No, I mean, it's people think it's just slapping down some asphalt when you can grade something and call it good. There's an awful lot that goes into play just getting us to this point, and even before all the financial costs, there's discussion, there's transportation plans, there's discussions with our partners, Core, used to be IREA, talking to Douglas County. So again, it takes a fair amount of time and money just to get us to this point. So thank you, Patrick. Appreciate it.
Thank you, John. Laura, questions?
Yeah, and you may not know the answer, so I know your supervisor's here too. Just if you could talk at the high level of just how did the engineering department and public works shore up the money for this in the budget over that period of time, that sort of strategic long-term planning that enabled this project, because we really do have to have some strategic long-term planning to get to $30 million.
Just state for the record that Director Tom Williams, Public Works and Engineering, has approached the podium.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, Councilmember Hefta, with most of our transportation projects, as Councilmember Dyak said, we think and plan for these projects years and sometimes decades in advance. But we try and approach these projects in a collaborative kind of method with partners, as many partners as we can get to the table on these big transportation projects. Lincoln Avenue, unfortunately, is not a state highway. It's a town road. So our options are fairly limited as far as resources that we can go out and seek partners. Douglas County has been a very good partner of ours on many projects that aren't highway related or Parker Road related. And we've been in discussions with Douglas County, like Patrick mentioned, since really probably 2010 about this project. It's been on their radar. We put it on their radar. Hey, we need to do this. And we've been really just looking for the right opportunity. Opportunity being, one, has the traffic met the threshold to where we need to do something because it's congested? But two, are the funds available from our partner, Douglas County, to be able to help us with this? They have a lot of funding project priorities throughout the county, and so timing is everything. We have to look at their 5-year, 10-year plan and see if we can't request to place that into their long-range plans early enough to where we can execute a project like this. So takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of discussion, a lot of meetings, and just very happy that we got to this point.
Thank you.
Actually, one more question for me for Patrick. Lincoln's getting all the highlights and rightfully so, 6 lanes and sidewalk improvements and the like. Would you touch on what's going on Jordan? Because I think that's fairly important also.
Yeah, so the bridge on Jordan, just south of Lincoln Avenue across Newland Gulch, that bridge is also getting widened on both sides to allow some extra room for some turn lanes. And then we're also providing a new sidewalk link from Village Center, I believe it's Village Center Parkway, all the way down to Stonegate Boulevard. There's currently no sidewalk along Jordan Road there, so this will provide that link between those two sidewalks where we have that missing segment. That's kind of the, I guess that's the interesting part of what's going on Jordan. The widening work is really just to accommodate the additional widening on Jordan. But yes, we are providing that additional sidewalk link.
Would you say that's a public safety issue and something that we need to address?
It certainly is. I mean, right now there's no sidewalk there, and if you go out there, you can see it is used as a sidewalk. There's a trail down there that people are using. So this will give them a nice, safe place to get off the road, get off the dirt, and have some connectivity.
Appreciate that. Thank you. With that, we'll open public comment at 7:36. If there's anybody from the public that wishes to address this council about this item, please make yourself known. Seeing none, we'll close public comment at the same time, 7:36, and move on to comments from council. John, start us off, please.
Yeah, this is one more project. I didn't realize it was one of the bigger projects. I guess when you combine 2 projects together, that you get that. But being 12, 13 years here, we've seen a lot, and we're pretty close to the end. Quite honestly, the bigger projects. I mean, after this, we have Stroh widening, Crowfoot, and we have some already in process with the Dronsfeld extension, hopefully to make things easier for people living in where I live, Bradbury Hills, Horse Creek area, and the new trails of Crowfoot getting into our areas which you can shop, Walmart and Target, as well as the aforementioned Cottonwood Bridge. That was something which we only dreamed about, I think, when Josh and I got on as council members back in 2013, but the commitment to our planning, the commitment to having those discussions, the commitment to opening up those conversations and trying to find money so we can do things like this has not been easy, but it's been just a process. And you got to keep on having those discussions. You got to figure out where to find the money, and good things happen. And I'm so thankful that we're at this point with this project. I think a couple more big ones to go, and maybe we can focus on Parker Road and get some help from CDOT. But I mean, I think that's for somebody else beyond my years. But again, thank you to everybody who's worked on this in the past. Currently, Patrick, Tom, and team. I appreciate it, and I can only imagine when we say yes, the mobilization will start to occur, I assume, before midnight. It's jestful, but thank you.
Laura.
Bless you.
Part of having a well-run town for our students in the audience means that people work together as a team. So in this room, we have many team leaders. We have our town attorney and her staff, our town clerk, our town manager. We have our engineer, director of public works. We have our law enforcement team. We have Patrick now presenting this case. And it takes an effort of all these folks working together to make sure our town is moving forward as our population increases. This was not always a big town, as John Dyack, Councilman Dyack, and Joshua Rivero can attest. At one point in time, when they were growing up here, it was probably 20,000. Less. So the town has expanded, but the roads have to expand too, and roads are expensive. So this is a huge credit to all of the town directors and staff and leaders and working together to bring these projects to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Brandy?
Yeah, to echo what Councilmember Hefta said, I mean, when my family moved here, it was population 1,500. So I definitely can attest to the amount of growth we've had. One of the things I love is getting rid of the traffic congestion. We all know exactly how much traffic comes down Lincoln, and I'm excited for the widening of this. One of the things I got to give you guys credit for is out of the 5 bids, I mean, the highest bid was a little over $30 million. So this is well over $3 million less for this one, and it's a reputable company that we've worked with before. So I think that's a tribute to the amount of companies that want to do business with our town, and I think that's a tribute to you guys and how you work with them. So thank you for all of the work on this, and I'm in support.
Ann?
Yeah, that's a big number. And I feel like Councilmember Dyack was saying one time when you had to approve a $100,000 project, that was like a huge deal. And
Probably. I mean, I don't recall, but yeah, sure.
and now the zeros have definitely, there's a lot more zeros. But I know there's so much work that went into this. Thank you. And I know that the construction, again, is going to be frustrating, but it's going to be so worth it in the end. So thank you.
Todd?
Yeah, it's infrastructure renaissance. So a lot of cool projects in that regard the last few years and next couple of years coming. So it's nice to see. So thank you.
Yeah, and I just real quick, heck of a job from everybody. Obviously, over the decades, Patrick, in the last 2 years. Do I infer that Hammond is in the room? Well done. And thank you all. With that, I would entertain a motion on this contract.
I move to approve the staff recommendation as part of the regular agenda.
Do I have a second, please?
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Hendricks. I have a second from Ms. Wilkes. Todd, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Brandy?
Aye.
John?
Yep.
Laura?
Yes.
And that also passes unanimously. With that, council, nothing else in front of this council. I move this meeting is adjourned.
Sweet.
But don't go anywhere.